Every day, a policeman shared lunch with a homeless woman, their quiet bond growing stronger with each meeting. But one fateful afternoon, an extraordinary twist shattered the routine, revealing a life-changing secret neither of them saw coming. What happened next would leave the entire community in awe. Before we dive into this incredible story, don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel for more heartwarming and inspiring tales that will leave you amazed. Hit the bell icon so you never miss a story that could brighten your day or change your perspective. Let's get started. Glowing Star. Policeman Smith had always believed his role was more than just upholding the law. To him, being an officer was a unique opportunity to weave threads of positivity into the fabric of his community. His reputation preceded him. Smith was not just the officer patrolling the streets, but a beacon of hope and kindness in his district. People knew him as someone who genuinely cared, always ready to lend a helping hand or offer a listening ear. Smith's days were often long and demanding, filled with calls for assistance, disputes to resolve, and sometimes moments of quiet reflection. Yet, amidst the chaos, he found joy in interacting with people from all walks of life. He firmly believed that behind every face was a story, and behind every story lay a lesson. Little did he know that one particular encounter would change his life, and someone else's forever. It was the spring of 2016, and the days were just beginning to warm. On one of his routine patrols through the city park, Smith noticed a homeless woman who always seemed to sit on the same weathered wooden bench. She was a petite woman with a quiet, unassuming demeanor, her dark hair often tucked under a faded scarf. Each time Smith passed, she greeted him with a kind smile, a small gesture that stood out in a world where smiles were sometimes hard to come by. Initially, Smith returned the gesture with a polite nod. But as days turned into weeks, he began to anticipate her presence, and her smile became a familiar part of his day. He learned her name, Amy Jo, through casual exchanges, though their conversations were brief at first. She seemed kind, and there was a quiet strength about her that intrigued him. One particularly sunny afternoon, Smith felt the weight of a long day on his shoulders. It had been one of those shifts that tested his resolve, and as he approached the park bench, he noticed Amy Jo sitting in her usual spot. Her warm smile greeted him, as it always did, but this time, something urged him to stop. "Mind if I sit here for a moment?" Smith asked, gesturing to the space beside her. "Of course, officer," Amy Jo replied with a nod, her voice soft yet welcoming. As Smith sat down, he glanced at the book in her hands. The cover was worn, and the pages looked well-read. He couldn't help but notice the way she held it, as though it were a treasure. "Reading anything good?" he asked, breaking the silence. Amy Jo hesitated, then admitted with a sheepish smile, "Not really reading. Yet. I'm trying to teach myself, but it's slow going." Smith's brow furrowed. "You're teaching yourself to read?" Amy Jo nodded, her gaze dropping to the book. "I've always wanted to. I figured if I could just learn to read, maybe things could change for me." Her words struck a chord deep within Smith. He asked her more about her story, and she began to open up. Amy Jo explained how a series of unfortunate events, a job loss, medical bills, and eventually the loss of her home, had led her to the streets. Yet, despite her hardships, she remained optimistic, clinging to the hope that better days lay ahead. What shocked Smith the most was her determination. Despite her struggles, Amy Jo used the few coins she received from passers-by to buy books. She believed that if she could read, she could find a way to improve her situation. As Smith walked away that day, he couldn't shake Amy Jo's story from his mind. Her resilience inspired him, and he resolved to do something to help. The next day, he returned to the park bench with a small stack of books from the library. "These might be a little easier to start with," he said, handing them to her. "If you'd like, I can help you go through them." Amy Jo's eyes widened in surprise. "You do that for me?" "Of course," Smith replied with a smile. "Everyone deserves a chance to learn." From that day forward, Smith made it a point to visit Amy Jo several times a week. They would sit on the bench for hours, going over letters, words, and sentences. Each time she mastered a new word, her face lit up with pride. Smith could see the spark of hope in her eyes growing stronger with each lesson. Smith's commitment didn't stop there. As he got to know Amy Jo better, he realized that her struggles required more than just literacy skills. She needed a stable foundation, a place to live, and resources to rebuild her life. Determined to help, Smith set up a fundraising page online and shared Amy Jo's story. He wrote about her perseverance and her dream of turning her life around. To his surprise, the story resonated with many people. Donations began to pour in, and Amy Jo's journey became a source of inspiration. However, not everyone was supportive. Some critics accused Smith of using his position as an officer for personal gain, but he remained steadfast. "This isn't about me," he told his colleagues. "It's about giving someone a chance to succeed." The funds raised were enough to secure a small apartment for Amy Jo. With a roof over her head, she could focus on rebuilding her life. Smith continued to support her, helping her navigate the process of finding a job and even assisting her in writing her resume. Amy Jo's determination never wavered. With Smith's guidance, she enrolled in job readiness classes and applied for positions that aligned with her newfound skills. Eventually, she landed a job at a local library, a place where she could continue to learn and grow. "I never imagined I'd work in a library," Amy Jo said one day, her voice filled with emotion. "It's like a dream come true." Smith beamed with pride. "You've earned every bit of this, Amy Jo. You believed in yourself, and that's what made all the difference." Amy Jo's story became a symbol of hope for many in the community. People were inspired by her resilience and Smith's unwavering support. Together, they proved that even small acts of kindness could ripple outward, creating profound change. As the years went by, Amy Jo continued to thrive. She often reflected on how it all began, with a simple conversation and the kindness of one man who believed in her potential. Her friendship with Smith remained strong, a testament to the power of human connection. Their story serves as a reminder that even in the darkest times, hope and transformation are possible. Smith and Amy Jo's journey is a beacon of light, showing that compassion and determination can change lives and inspire others to do the same. If you found this story heartwarming and inspiring, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more incredible tales of kindness, resilience, and hope. Each story we share is a reminder of the good that exists in the world and the power of compassion to change lives. Stay tuned for more uplifting content that will leave you inspired. Glowing Star.